What if every thought you hear in your mind isn't actually yours? This question alone is enough to shake the foundations of how most people understand themselves. We grow up believing that the voice inside our head is us, our identity, our intelligence, our intuition, our inner guide. But imagine for a moment that this voice is not your friend. Imagine that every thought rising inside you is not a reflection of your true self, but a whisper designed to confuse you, mislead you, or pull you away from your inner peace. When people hear the word devil, they imagine a supernatural being with horns and fire. But in spiritual language, the devil is not a creature. It's a metaphor for deception, illusion, and the inner forces that pull you away from truth. It is the part of the mind that thrives on fear, doubt, insecurity, and endless mental noise. And when you look at your daily thoughts honestly, you notice something shocking. Most of them are negative, repetitive, anxious, or self-critical. They pull you into the past, trap you in the future, and distract you from the present. They tell you stories that make you feel small, weak, or broken. They whisper doubts exactly when you feel confident. They plant fear exactly when you feel peaceful. They sabotage clarity with confusion. So the question becomes powerful. If this voice is genuinely mine, why is it working against me? If your thoughts truly belong to you, wouldn't they support you? Wouldn't they encourage you, uplift you, and guide you toward your best life? Instead, the inner voice often behaves like an enemy hiding inside your skull, pretending to be you but constantly pushing you towards stress, anger, jealousy, regret, and overthinking. This is where the idea of the devil's whisper becomes profound. Not because there is a literal devil speaking to you, but because the mind itself can act like a trickster. It can pull you into suffering without you even realizing it. And the most dangerous part is this: the mind whispers in your own voice. It sounds like you. It feels like you. So you never question it, you never challenge it, you simply obey it. But what if you stopped believing every thought? What if you stepped back and observed them instead? Suddenly you would notice that the mind is constantly whispering things that don't align with your values, your peace, or your true nature. You would see that your real self is not the voice, but the awareness listening to the voice. This realization is the beginning of spiritual awakening. The moment you understand that your thoughts are not your identity, they are visitors, and some of them may be misleading you. And once you see this, the entire game of life changes. You stop being controlled by the whisper and begin to reclaim your power. To truly understand why your thoughts can feel like the whisper of the devil, you must first understand the nature of the mind itself. The human mind was never designed to make you peaceful. It was designed to make you survive. And survival depends on fear, anticipation, memory, and constant scanning for danger. This means the mind is always producing thoughts, not to help you grow, but to protect you from what it assumes might harm you. But in the modern world, this survival mechanism often becomes your biggest enemy. Think about how many thoughts you have on a daily basis. Scientists estimate around 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day. But here's the strange part: most of them are not new. They are recycled worries, repeated judgments, old fears, old insecurities, and automatic reactions from past experiences. The mind is like a broken record stuck on the same track, and you mistake this noise for intelligence. But what if the mind's noise is not intelligence? What if it is just an echo of old programming? When you were a child, you absorbed beliefs, fears, opinions, and judgments from your parents, teachers, society, and culture. These impressions became the raw material from which your mind creates thoughts today. So when you hear a voice saying, "You're not enough, you're going to fail, or you should be afraid," it is really your true self speaking. It is the old programming replaying itself. Now ask yourself this: if your mind is simply echoing the past, how can it guide you in the present? This is why thoughts mislead you. They come from memory, not from awareness. They come from fear, not from truth. They come from conditioning, not from consciousness. And here is where the metaphor of the devil becomes meaningful. In spiritual traditions, the devil symbolizes anything that pulls you away from your center, your clarity, and your higher nature. In this sense, your thoughts often behave like this force. They tempt you with comparisons. They drag you into regret. They provoke anger. They whisper judgments about others and about yourself. They create imaginary problems and then force you to react to them emotionally. They make you believe in stories that are not even real. Notice how this happens automatically. You don't choose your next thought, it simply appears. So if you are not choosing your thoughts, who is? The mind itself. And the mind has its own momentum, its own habits, its own addictions. It whispers whatever keeps it active: conflict, fear, drama, desire, doubt, and noise. The mind feeds on activity, not peace. This is why your thoughts rarely guide you towards stillness or joy. Stillness threatens the mind's power. Silence exposes its illusions. Awareness dissolves its tricks, so the mind keeps whispering. It wants you distracted, emotional, divided, and restless, because in restlessness it survives. But here is the real truth. You are not the thoughts you hear, you are the awareness that hears them. And once you recognize that distinction, the whispers lose their control over you. Once you begin to notice that your thoughts are not your true self, an inner battle begins, a battle between the awareness that observes and the voice that whispers. This battle is not loud, dramatic, or visible to anyone else. It doesn't happen in the outside world. It happens privately, silently, inside your own consciousness. And yet it is the most important battle you will ever fight. Awareness is quiet. Thoughts are loud. Awareness is spacious. Thoughts are crowded. Awareness is calm. Thoughts are restless. These two forces cannot coexist peacefully because the rise of one weakens the other. When you become more aware, more present, more conscious, more grounded, the power of the inner voice begins to fade. It's like turning on a light in a dark room. The shadows instantly lose their strength. But the mind doesn't want to lose control. It has been the ruler of your inner world for your entire life. So when awareness grows, the mind fights back. How does it fight back? By becoming louder, by becoming more dramatic, by creating fear, doubt, or confusion, by whispering thoughts that pull you away from presence. If you've ever tried meditation, you know this battle well. The moment you try to sit in silence, the mind starts screaming. It throws random thoughts at you. It reminds you of things you forgot. It creates imaginary problems. It tries to make you restless. Why? Because silence threatens its throne. The mind knows it cannot survive in stillness, so it distracts you with noise. This is why the whispers feel like the devil. Not because they are evil in a supernatural sense, but because they pull you away from your highest state of consciousness. They trap you in illusions. They tempt you with negativity. They distort your perception. They convince you that you are the voice inside your head, and once you believe that, you become trapped in its prison. But awareness doesn't fight with force. It doesn't argue with thoughts. It doesn't attack the mind. Awareness simply watches. It observes the thoughts as they come and go without attaching to them. And this observation weakens the mind's power naturally. A thought only has power when you believe in it, when you identify with it, when you mistake it for truth. But the moment you see it clearly as just a thought, just a passing whisper, it loses its grip on you. This is why spiritual teachers across the world say that awakening is not about destroying the mind, but about seeing it for what it is. The mind is not the enemy. Unconsciousness is. The devil is not a creature. It's the illusion that your thoughts are who you are. Awareness frees you. Identification traps you. So the battle is simple. Will you remain the prisoner of the voice, or become the one who hears the voice? The moment you choose awareness, the whisper begins to lose its power, and your true self begins to rise. Reaching the point where you can truly observe your thoughts without becoming trapped by them is one of the greatest transformations a human being can experience. It's not dramatic on the outside, no lightning, no visions, no supernatural signs, but inside, it marks the beginning of true inner freedom. Freedom doesn't start when life becomes easy. It starts when your mind no longer controls you. And that freedom begins the moment you realize you are not the whisper. You are the one who hears it. The mind has spent your entire life convincing you that you are your thoughts, that every word that arises inside your head is your identity, your belief, your truth. But the moment you create even a small gap between awareness and thought, something magical happens. The whisper loses its authority. It becomes like background noise, something you can hear but no longer obey. This is the birth of awakening. True freedom is not the absence of thoughts. Thoughts will always come. The mind will always speak. It's built to create, imagine, predict, analyze, and warn. What changes is your relationship with it. Instead of being a slave to the mind, you become the master. Instead of